Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Nahmaduhu wa nusalli ala rasulihil kareem amma ba'd. As we go on into the last ashara, today is 26th of Ramadan, which means tonight is going to be 27th of Ramadan. Now, before we start talking about laylatul qadr and how to approach it, we understand that laylatul qadr is hidden in between the last 10 nights of Ramadan. And I won't even say that it is in the last odd nights of Ramadan, simply because yes, while the technical answer for that is that it is within the last odd nights of Ramadan, yet which are the odd nights, especially when we have always this difference of opinion of when the Ramadan is starting. So in that perspective, it's always beneficial, it's always better for our Muslim brothers and sisters not to think about the difference of opinion as a mode of separating between one and the other. Rather, think of it as unifying. We already know from the ahadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam that it is in the last 10 days of Ramadan. Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to sit for i'tikaf in the last 10 days of Ramadan to seek for this laylatul qadr. So now what we need to understand from it is, because of this difference of opinion, we have to search for laylatul qadr in the entirety of the last 10 days of Ramadan, right? So every day our ibadat should be such that as if today might be the laylatul qadr, and we should strive for it. But our today's advices are some general advices for the last days of Ramadan as what we have left. So let's continue and look towards it. Some of the things that you should be looking at, some of the ibadat, some of the worships that you should be doing at from the beginning of the last ashara actually from the beginning of Ramadan as well. But these are the activities which should be excelled in. One should strive towards them because they will yield more rewards than the other. So first one is the recitation of the Quran. Quran, this is the month of Quran. We have talked about it extensively up till now. So the last few moments of Ramadan, the last few days of Ramadan, and especially when the chance of laylatul qadr may be there, it is for you to grab onto the Quran and start reciting as much Quran as possible. Tarawih prayers have been going on. Some masajid have started performing Tarawih salahs as well. So you should also focus on performing the Tarawih prayer. Understand that 20 rakat Tarawih, when you are going to serve it, when you are going to stand for it, even if it is with the small surahs and everything, what you are showing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is that you are willing to exert more than the general days that you would be exerting otherwise. You should include within itself profound love for Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam by increasing upon the durood and salawat. Recite durood al-Ibrahimi, which is the most beloved of the duroods to Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, or you may recite any of the other durood or salawat as well. Hazrat Sheikh Zakaria rahmullah has compiled a small booklet of 40 salatu wasalam. So there are 40 different duroods and 40 different salawats with at-tahiyyat and the other salawat within it. Utilize that and recite as much as possible. Similarly, you should set aside time, set aside your exertion and energy to inculcate into the du'as and the manajat, asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala what your heartly desire is. If it is for the maghfirah, for istighfar, for the ills that you may have done throughout the year, ask it. Sit and seek from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If it is for other worldly things, then who else can you ask but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? So you utilize the time for the du'as and manajat to ask that as well. Another thing that I have mentioned over here is the seek laylatul qadr. Now here I'm not asking that you should make ibadah in the laylatul qadr. No, that we have already spoken about, and that in itself is a very big ibadah. One who is going to do it more than 1,000 months. But here what I'm talking about is the aspect of just the seeking of this Laylatul Qadr itself is a virtue as well. So when you are going to be looking for a Laylatul Qadr throughout the last 10 days, someone may come and say like, oh, last night it was serene and the moon was like this and that and everything. I'm sure it was Laylatul Qadr. So what should that put into your mind? If that was Laylatul Qadr, should I stop seeking Laylatul Qadr now for the remaining days of Ramadan? No. So we will continue seeking, because seeking for Laylatul Qadr is going to spur us towards the ibadat which is going to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So try for all of it. Similarly, next is sadaqah and charity. I have mentioned elsewhere on the other issues as well that sadaqah should be excelled in the last 10 days of Ramadan, and it should have been excelled throughout the Ramadan itself as well. We have for the Ilm Hub, it has been mentioned under this reminder throughout the Ramadan that we are collecting some sadaqah. Now we are not accepting any zakat, we are not accepting sadaqatul fitr as well. We are only accepting just general sadaqat that you wish to invest for the akhirah. Right? So when you do spend your charity, know what charity you are spending, where you are spending, whether it is the right avenues or wrong avenues. If you are spending zakat, then you must learn the rules and the lawazimat and the ahkam, the rules of the zakat itself. Who can receive the zakat? Who should be dispensing the zakat? Where can it be given? Can it be given in organizations? Can it be given in general welfare of the people, or does it have to be put into the hands of somebody so that it can be dispensed? So all those are particular issues, whereas here in Ramadan, in last 10 days, if you have zakat, yes, dispenses, that's your duty anyway. If not, then utilize this time, these few moments of giving extreme amount of sadaqahs. Give $1 today, $2 tomorrow, or give in multiples, $10 today and $20 tomorrow, right? You would realize that you will be spending a lot more than what you would have spent throughout the year, but the avenue would be such that you would spend in it, it will become invested, and it will reap you all the rewards in the akhirah, countless and compounded reward, because it's Ramadan as well. Similarly, at the same time, do not exclude, do not cut off understanding of what is already liable upon you to do, and that is the qada salahs, the qada fasts and everything, all those things. While you in Ramadan, you cannot perform the qada fasts because you are performing regular fasts. So make sure when you are going to be fasting after Ramadan, maybe in Shawwal and everything, start performing your qada fast. But in Ramadan, in these last few moments, start making as much qada of your salahs, so to seek the maghfirah from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for those previous liabilities. And finally, whether you are standing, sitting on the sides or walking, in any duration, any time, you should always be making dhikr and adhkar. There are plentiful adhkar that you can do. You can just remember the word Allah and then remember Allah through it. You can say Subhanallah, you can say Subhanallah wa bihamdi, Subhanallah al-Azim. Bukhari Sharif mentions this hadith in the last hadith, that this is the lightest on the tongue, but it's the heaviest on the scale. You can start making tasbihat and adhkar in other way. La ilaha illallah, la hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. All these adhkars are good. You can make choice of any of these azkars and recite whatever you feel like to gain the most contentment and comfort from them and please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to the fullest. Put your effort into it. Only a few days are left, few hours are left, which we will utilize. Make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that Allah accepts whatever has been done throughout the Ramadan as well, and make us one of his choicest people. Subhanallah wa bihamdi, subhanakallahumma wa bihamdik, wa nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta, astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Jazakallah, wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.